Eren Ari. Hey, congratulations on all fun and games.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, the one thing for certain, I can't I can't watch Asa Butterfield in a sex education like this anymore. So
Nice. Nice. Yeah, that's the best compliment we've heard all day. That's fantastic.
well, let me ask this obligatory question: is where the original idea came from for all fun and games?
Sure, yeah. I mean, the original script came into ABGO, Joe and Anthony Russo's company, as a spec written by J.J. Brader. And Eren and I have had a relationship. I've worked with the Russos for 15 years almost, and Eren and I have had a relationship with them for a while. And they had seen a couple shorts that we had done, most notably this short called The Bride, which was a bit of a Western horror mashup. And they encouraged us to sort of lay claim to something at ABGO, and they would produce it for us. And we really loved the idea of this demon that played twisted and horrific versions of children's games. So when Eren and I, we're writers and directors, so when we did a pass on the script, we really focused on the siblings and the characters and their relationships. And we were looking to scripts such as movies such as Lady Bird in 8th grade and mid-90s for their authentic portrayal of teenagers and also family dynamics. And another film that we looked at as like sort of a North Star and a high bar, obviously, is E.T., and specifically the scene with the mother and the children around the dinner table. And so we focused a lot on building out who our characters were, the trauma they were suffering from, and their history, and then also weaving that through the mythology of the script.
I mean, I think the other thing that was super exciting to us was we saw the tension of genres inside the script for us, which was coming of age with the subgenres of horror being possession and a slasher film. And that to us, like we would say Amblin meets John Carpenter. And that as filmmakers, was sort of both our personal way in, but also our cinematic way in, to be able to really smuggle this kind of cool, meaningful idea into genre. So I think that was also really, really exciting to us, looking at films like Nightmare on Elm Street or, movies like The Exorcist, obviously, these kinds of all the movie Evil Dead, all the films that we grew up on, and really, and also obviously Halloween and all of John Carpenter's work. So that was also exciting in addition to sort of the grounded, the emotional part of the story.
What is about, working with like children and teens in horror movies? I mean, this is quite a trend of easy. Mm-hmm. Is it easy scares or what's going on?
I mean, I think for us it was Ari and I both kind of grew up in, I guess what you could say, traditional sort of suburban settings where we were sort of left to our own devices and learned lessons maybe the hard way. I think for us all the games and the horror movie are all a metaphor for childhood, right, and coming of age, and how maybe you wish your parents were there for certain things. And playing games is how we learn, but it's also how we endure pain sometimes. So for us, it was like, okay, this is so rich because we always feel the teenage movies and coming of age movies they're so relatable and they're so powerful because everyone is forced to go through that, whether they want to or not. So for us, that's where teenagers in horror sit. It's really the emotional thing of you're going to have to grow up, and it might be because of violence versus divorce, and sometimes both, or, a demon becomes the metaphor for things like divorce. That was, or a family breaking up or whatever it may be.
I mean, there is for this film, there's like a certain fascination, even though we speak of demons, where we're always talking about that setting of Salem, and we always relate that to witches. What is our fascination, with that mythology?
Yeah, go ahead, Aaron.
Well, I mean, I think the thing that we connected with, because we didn't want it to be we had always had the backstory that Daniel the demon was a child, because we wanted to connect that to Joe, sort of this could happen to Joe, it could happen to Daniel. But what we found really fascinating about witches is that, these women were all single mothers. They were all of a certain class. It's still going on. It was very relatable to right now, in terms of this mass persecution of women by old men in the church. And we felt, we're like, wow, this is it's a perfect sort of metaphor and link. And so for us, it's not just the occult nature of witches, but the societal generational trauma of what the witch trials are. You know, it's probably a little more Scarlet Letter than it is, witch hunters or something like that. And then also, I think everybody is always frightened of the witch in the woods, like we sort of have. But Ari and I thought, wouldn't it be cool if the persecution of real women led to witchcraft, and it led to these women becoming witches to take vengeance. And then tying that to Daniel and the family, we wanted a parallel, of our family to this other family in the past. So that was what was exciting to us about witches and Salem particularly.
Now, this wasn't filmed in Salem. I mean, it was filmed somewhere else, but I have to admit that house is beautiful. Like I almost want to live in it.
Yeah, we got really lucky that we shot this in Winnipeg, Canada, and I grew up in the Northeast. I grew up in Connecticut and went to school in Boston, so I was familiar with the area we were setting the story. And Winnipeg afforded us a lot of different locations that you totally buy for the Northeast, and with a little bit of production design from Dinah Magnus, who was really fantastic on this movie. You buy it for Salem, and the house, like I said, we're very lucky. It was the first house shown to us. We could own it for the whole length of the shoot because nobody lived there any longer, and it already had amazing bones. Like you already walk into that house and you're like, wow, something terrible happened here. And like I said, our production designer Diana, she put in that amazing checkerboard floor and the sort of opening that it had the amazing winding staircase, and then she just aged it, gave it some flavor. There's the history of the family on the walls. There's the history of Salem on the walls, and then we look to movies like Prisoner to give it this very lived-in feel, this very working class lived-in feel, like this history. So yeah, I mean that the house definitely became its own character, and we think that you feel Salem both in the house and throughout the story.
And just one thing to say, interestingly, initially Ari and I's backstory of Salem and everything was just sort of it was revealed a little bit at the very, very end, but it was actually Joe Russo who said, no, let's bring your specificity up into the movie and make it the world of the movie. And he was really the one who came up with the idea of the knife. There should be a relic. There should be this key to the demon. And then we were like, oh, great. What if it's Daniel's femur? So but he really, really, he's Joe Russo for a reason. It was an amazing idea to take, our sort of backstory and be like, no, guys, lean into that. Don't blow past it.
I do have to admit that knife is like a character in the movie by itself. I mean, where's that knife now?
It's so Eren and I are both at it's right outside. Eren and I are both at ABGO right now. That's where we're doing the interview from. We're doing an advanced screening for sort of like friends and family tonight, and so they've got all of our costumes out in the lobby. The knives are out in the lobby. Yeah, so I don't know what's going to happen to it. Eren and I will probably sneak off with some of the knives, and they'll just magically disappear afterwards. But yeah, I mean, it's it's really cool to have to have a movie where you have such an iconic prop. Honestly.
Well, let me leave it with one last thought. This is always a debate in the the horror industry: practical versus CGI. And I want to say you guys kind of did both in this film. Could you guys give us your 2 cents on this?
I mean, we're practical all the way. I mean, we're John Carpenter's The Thing, you know what I mean, or Hereditary, or we love practical effects. I mean, where there's CGI or visual effects in our film, it's because we sort of couldn't achieve the practical. And not that we have anything against, visual effects, but I think we would just want to plan it more thoughtfully as opposed to a Band-Aid too. But, again, our visual effects, we're very proud of what our team was able to do, and really talented artists. But I mean, I think, yeah.
We love movie magic, special effects. We love, like the mask on our demon. Actually, that is actually a local actress named Summer Howell who plays our demon. So it is a female under the mask. We built a whole prosthetic mask to put over her face to turn her into the demon. So yeah, like Eren said, anytime we can do practical, we love getting our hands dirty and blood and prosthetics and all that. We love it.
Yeah.
Well, I certainly love that too, and I was like screaming, "Where's the demon's teeth?" But but that's what's horrifying about it. So, guys, thank you very much for carrying this conversation. It's all fun and games until someone gets hurt, right?
That's right. That's right.
Thank you
so
very
much for
much.
chatting with us.
Thank you so much. We appreciate it.